Hey guys, ILene Vick here for teaching adult coloring with ILene Vick. And it is Saturday, April 24th at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And I am live. Oh, all right. And I managed to leave something that I need. Hi, Daniel. Hey, Daniel, do me a favor and sit tight for a minute. I've got to grab something. Would you do me a favor? And so let's get you here. Hey, Daniel.
Good morning.
Good to see you.
Ah,
So that's not unusual at all for a book publishing to be changed for whatever reason. And Jillian mentioned that she's just waiting for her cover artist. She's got one that she's using, and he wanted a little more time. And so she said that would be fine. And then when that's done, it'll go through Amazon.
so as I said, I don't really have an expectation. I've never published a book, so I don't know exactly what the sequence of events is. But it was neat just because even getting it pushed back all of a sudden made it very real that it is about to get published. I mean, you can only get
Uh-huh.
pushed back that was going to get published, and so um, that made it all very real and exciting, which I thought was cool.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and just to let you know, that isn't necessarily out of the ordinary. I mean, stuff happens, and sometimes we all put together when we're like when I'm doing a program and stuff. I'll set a date, and something happens, and just like when we were setting up the date to have you come on, and originally, and I'm sure Jillian already told you this, but originally we were going to. Jillian was just going to send me a PDF file, and I was going to go ahead and print that out, and still have you come on, and then have the winner, if we have when we have a contest, have the winner get that PDF file. But it was just for the sake of the book and stuff, because everybody here is really excited to see your book. So we wanted to have a physical book in hand. So as soon as Jillian's artist is finished with his work, and she loves this guy. I don't know if it's a man or a woman, actually. She loves this person.
I'm under the assumption that it's a man. I'm not 100% on that one, but that's the impression that I got.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I think she did say he. Okay, yeah.
So, yeah.
So she loves this guy to death because he's done work for her, and rather than push him, because he had asked for a little more time, rather than push him, she said, hey, that's fine. And so we decided to wait to have you on camera, and not to go the PDF route, but to go to the in-hand product. So that's what we're excited about.
I think that'll work better. Again, I think when you put all the pictures that I have together in the correct order, it makes for a really cool story rather than just
Okay.
rather than just coloring pages. And so I'm hoping that's kind of part of the holdup, is to make sure that she's on the same page as me on, because I've done an experimental printout of all the drawings, and to kind of so that they tell a full narrative rather than just a couple of cool pictures. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, exactly. Now here, now give us a teaser. So without giving away anything major, what's the story? What's a little bit of the story about? Excuse me.
Well, the story is that I started off a pretty traditional gnome book for about pages and kind of explored the lives of happy, peaceful gnomes until I just started. I was given again kind of a green light to explore it further, and all these gnomes are living in trees, and I thought maybe gnomes or maybe these trees don't like being lived in, and because you're carving them out, right?
Oh.
And then there's they're collecting acorns, which are really just baby trees. So that's pretty homicidal if you're from the tree's perspective. And and as you go along, you realize that maybe these gnomes, I mean, they're kind of peaceful from their perspective, but from others, maybe not so much. And so it really just developed into creating an entire world where everything has its own views on what is right and wrong, and willingness to defend those things.
How cool. Okay, well, stop.
Okay.
Yeah, stop right there.
I started making different tribes, and you really just ended up using my gnomes as a way to narrate and explore the different participants in a world.
Perfect. Okay.
Anyway, so that's kind of the gist of how it all went.
How cool. How cool. Now, I've got a question for you. Have you colored any of your own pages? I don't know if I asked you this. I may have.
None of the gnome. Well, yeah, none of the gnome pages. But I colored a couple. I colored like my fish pictures, and I don't know where they belong. And I kind of feel bad for having colored them, because now that I've colored them, they're no longer coloring pages. And so, but I'm also with this project having kind of, it's out of my hands now. I've submitted all the drawings that I think I'm going to, and let Jillian take it from there. But it's kind of it's left me freedom to start 2 other projects that I want to get done. And so no, actually, I'm not. I don't usually color them. I enjoy coloring my own pictures, but and I've always used pen and ink. Typically, gel pens have always been my favorite medium. Colored pencil would be my second. I don't like anything that sticks to me. Like, so chalk, I never like chalk or really paint or anything that sticks to me.
Okay.
Because I've always just basically been able to draw on the go, and so whenever, for most of my life or career has been one in motion. So I've learned how to draw while riding in the back of a vehicle, and so
yeah,
I picked up a style that deals with potholes and bumps real well. And
oops, now we have now we have more. Now we have more bark on that tree.
Right. And so the idea of like a full setup like you have of paints and chalks and I never really had the opportunity to have those or have the space to practice with them whenever I was young. And now that I'm old, I stick with just gel pens, lots of cross hatching, and with different colors. But no, but I am kind of like your last artist. Is I kind of have ADD, and once I've drawn it, the need to color it that's almost extra. It's like, no, I'm already moved on to the next. I get the idea down, fill in the little details that I want, and then move on to the next pretty quickly.
Okay, well.
But I really love this new fairy that you have posted up there.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I've been playing around with it. Used some cellophane on the wings, and I don't know. I don't know if you saw the broadcast. Thank you, Lila. I'm changing my setup here. Okay, so the ones that you colored on, and I don't want to get into too long of a conversation, but the ones that you colored on, you just can't reline those and make those line art again? What am I not understanding?
Well, yes, I could because I do most everything digital now. I could go back and redraw it. But the way that I did, but that's a lot. That's a lot of time. that's a lot of time, and because it's all kind of on the same layer now. But
yeah. Well, you might want to consider, bringing that back because that is your artwork, of course, and I kind of hate to have you say, "Oh, I colored it, so it's never going to be published."
Well, in my head, I have, if I can get Jillian to sign off on it, then I do have a fantastical creature book that I'm certain that I can fill out. I have a kind of a limitless amount of made up creatures in my head. And then again, my just my journal, my doodle drawings, and I've gotten 5 of those ready to go. I'm finishing the last one today.
Yeah,
finishing the newest one today.
You sound like Jeff Haney. He does the same kind of thing. I don't know if you have seen him when he's come online, but he's got his doodles and his journals and his stuff. And actually, he had created a bunch of artwork over the years that's different from what he published as far as coloring books. And so we got to talking to him about that, and we said, hey, Jeff, seems to me that would make a really neat coloring book. And he said, you're right. And so his next one now is going to be a departure from what he normally does, and he'll be getting that one out. So we're all excited about that.
I don't know if anybody else, I don't know other people who, I guess everybody does doodles, or anybody who's artistic, actually not even artistic, does doodles. And like always had the idea back whenever there were such thing as phone books, I was always under the assumption that everybody does doodles on their phone book covers because, you're sitting there on the phone and piddling. And so I always had an art project in mind of going by all my friends, family, and neighbors' houses and stealing their covers off of their phone books and make a collage out of them. I never got around to doing it, but just because I do have the general assumption that everybody does it, they don't realize that it's art, but it is.
It is art. Okay. All right. Well, I just wanted to touch base with you, and for everybody that's coming in, this is Daniel Willis, and he is now in our family of teaching adult coloring with ILene Vick, and he is being published through Jolt Book, no S on that, Jolt Book, and that is through Jillian Wilson. And we are so excited because he is on the cusp of literally having his book released, and it will be introduced here through this channel. So we are so excited about that. Daniel, thank you so much for taking the time to visit with us. I just wanted to have you pop in real quick and say hi.
No problem. Y'all. I'm just going to drop back into the background and draw on this little picture while you're doing your coloring. So.
Yeah, and by the way, I appreciate that you were watching the other day, but you said you were standing on a ladder while you were doing it. Don't do that.
Well, that's what was called for, and that's what was called for at the time.
It's so funny. Yeah, and I'm really glad. One of the things that you're going to find out as well is we have some wonderful artists that visit here once in a while, and I lost the name. Who were we talking to? Dawn, I think that we were talking to, and you were learning some stuff about publishing and stuff that they went through. And as you get to know people here, you're going to find out that our artists are very giving. So I hope that you hook up with them, and I'm sure if you have any questions that they will be more than happy to help you. So you'll learn what a great group we have. We've got really great people in here. And my goal always is to bring artists in, and you guys end up talking to each other, and we end up talking to you. And that's the main reason why I do that, because we love learning about the artists and getting their perspective as well. So it's just great for everybody, and everybody benefits. So, okay?
Okay. Well.
All right. Well, thank you for dropping in, and we'll catch you later, sweetie.
Thanks, ma'am. Appreciate it.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. So that was Daniel Willis. Delighted to have him in. Hello, everybody that came in. All right. So let's do a sound check. Yeah, Lila, he is a very nice gentleman. Hey, you guys never know what to expect when you come in here. Okie dokie. So I'm working on Whimsical Dreams by Julia Spiri. And I was playing around with her hair the other day and getting that color in. Okay, good. What I have finally figured out is that when I have somebody come in the room as a guest, my volume goes way up. So I just move my mouthpiece. So I think I've got it under control. All right. So for those of you that didn't see this the other night, zoom in, and that usually goes away too. Hold on. Zoom in. There we go. So I want to show you a couple of things that I did. I don't know if everybody caught it, but this, if you didn't see it the other day, is just the cellophane. And I went ahead and literally bought cellophane bags, the holographic cellophane bags, cut them up and created my own stuff rather than buying the expensive nail art stuff. And I've got that in affiliate list. I went ahead and put a little glitter on the round parts here of the butterfly wing. And then what was really neat is I used some glitter glue right here, and I've got it looking as though she is dropping fairy dust out of her purse. So you can see how cool that looks as well. So basically, the stuff that you're using to do this is holographic cellophane, and glitter glue. And then we found out, which was so cool, I had never thought of this. Stacy's not here, but we went ahead and added, zoom in, we added a little piece of cellophane, the holographic cellophane, to the bottom of the eyes. And oh my gosh, I have got to tell Jeff about that. But see, now she's got a twinkle in her eye. Zoom out. Zoom out. So see, she's got that sparkle, and that would be absolutely perfect for anything that you guys are doing, projects that you're doing. So that was fun to pick up on that. All right. La-da-dum. So let me go ahead and I showed you how I did the hair. Decided to go with the red hair with a nod to some purple punk. Hi Stace, we were just talking about the cellophane eyes and your idea. Oh, good idea, Lila. So those little bows. All right. I'll have to do that. That's perfect. Give me a second and I'm going to check. Hold on. Just sit tight a minute. Yeah, I'm in the process of rearranging everything, and sometimes my stuff disappears for a while. Oh, there we go. Oh, okay. So Daniel says, I forgot to mention that my favorite author, Benjamin Wallace, readers group and his entire page intend to sit in on the day of my book release. Super, super supportive. They've been so, oh yeah, we'll be friendly. We won't scare them away. Yeah, Daniel, have your friends join the group. So yeah, we could go ahead and let's see here. And I'm just playing with colors now. Oh, look at that. There we go. Oh man, too stinking cute. Look at that. So we'll play with some colors there and decide on which one. Yeah, that's too much. So Lila's thinking light purple. I've got that. I love these bows. Now, you want to be very judicious, of course, with anything that you add to a page. There you go. That's how that's going to look, guys. Zoom out. Oh, how cute. Okay, that's the ones I'll go with. Yeah, we need to go with that light purple. Light purple it is. I also, and just playing with colors here. Whoop. I mean, I'm going with the purple, but I just want to show you this as an alternative. See? Look at that. So you could even go with something like that. I think that gray looks absolutely beautiful too. But I have promised the purple, so I will do purple. And then here's our blue. Too many colors. We don't have a book color cover. All right, book book title yet on Daniel's book. Oh my gosh, guys, look how that blue picks up her eyes. Zoom in. Zoom in. Look at that. Woohoo. I'll defer to Lila on this one. Lila, do you like the blue or the purple better? Or the light blue? Yeah, I think our light blue gets lost. Daniel votes for the purple. So we'll have to take a look at Daniel's books and see. There we go. It looks like the majority of you are saying purple. All right, let me get my bows under control because they're in a container that when you open up, they poof out. Always purple. Always purple. Yeah, so Daniel, what you need to do is start inviting. The best thing for you to do, Daniel, is invite your group and friends to join the group here. And whenever I see invited by Daniel Willis, I'll go ahead and approve it because I have questions that I normally ask before I'll approve people. But if I see that they're invited by you, then I'll just let them in. Okay. How cute. Okay. I'm going to look at something, one more thing. Okay, what do you guys think of this? One purple, one blue. That's right, the purple bows match your shoes. Yeah, and the socks are different colors, so yeah, and our bows can be as well. No, blue is too dark. Okay. All right, we'll do the purple. Decision made. There we go. Oh, the multicolor is not right on screen. Okay. All righty. Let's see here. You know, that is an idea too. Lighter, dark. We have a dark purple. Yeah, we're going to go with the purple. The Duck and Cover series. No, I'm not familiar with that either. What is that, Daniel? Yeah, that might be a screen thing about it looking too dark. It truly does look good in person. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this little girl wrapped up. So we don't have too much more to go. Now, you guys know how I feel if Man Max and Terry Pratchett had a love child, that would be the Duck and Cover series. Ah. So Daniel, did you catch my comment about having everybody join the group? Go ahead and start inviting your people. We'll get them into the group. And guys, don't forget to share this on your timeline. Daniel, share this broadcast on your timeline and they'll see it as well. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and use just a little bit of marker. Daniel, we got to get you to be willing to get messy with different things, chalks and stuff. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and do a little yellow for the hair piece. And the reason we can do that is because we've got this green in other parts of her dress. Zoom in. So it obviously would not be a good idea to do anything with red flowers. Now, you guys know that I am all about dimensional coloring. So I've got my green, and now I'm going to use a little bit of dark green to go ahead and put in between. Please do not forget these little, the field flowers. Please do not forget these little touches. So I'm taking a little bit of marker, and at the bottom of the leaves, I'm adding a touch of the dark green. And you know, Daniel, it's really good that you're watching this coloring because that will show you how we color pages. And now on the yellow flower, I'm going to go ahead and pop in just a little bit of orange. Everybody see that? And then I'm going to go ahead and use black dots for the contrast. And then I'm going to take a little bit of brown and I'm just going to knock down that white that's in her part. Zoom out. Zoom out. All right. Now we're going to go ahead. We know that we're going to be putting these purple bows on her hair. So I'm going to go ahead and take a very light purple and just put a little bit of that purple on here. Zoom in. Zoom in. Now, I know that I'm going to cover up these hair pieces, but I'm still going to go ahead and put my dimension lines on them. Boy, those eyes are out of this world. You know, I gotta, give me a second, guys. I'm gonna see if I can get Jeff to pop in here. He needs to see this. Okay. And I'm still gonna hold off putting those bows on for a second. And now I'm gonna grab just a little bit of pink. Now, you guys know how I feel about sexualizing any images with young girls on it, so I will not do it. So I'm just going to go ahead and put a little bit. Excuse me. Just a little bit of pink on here. Be really careful, guys, what you do with makeup on your little girls. You want little girl colors and not, don't take it beyond that. Need to snip a little piece of cellophane out of her eye. Oh, okay. There we go. Get that out of there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a very, very soft pink. And we're going to go ahead and just add, yeah, that hurt your eyes watching. Knife eyes, yeah. And I'm going to even round that blush a little bit. So that it does look a little more childish. And let's catch that other side. And again, guys, we want this pink and anything to do with makeup now to look like it's more of a natural childish blush. So again, that's why I'm doing the circles on her face and then extending that a little bit. All right, zoom out. Whoops. What was awkward, Stace? Putting the knife by the eyes? Okay. All right. And I'm looking for something. Just hang with me a minute. Here we go. And you know what, guys? That cellophane, I talked a little bit about this before, would look really cool on Jeff's cats. All right, so I'm going to grab one of my stencils here. There we go. Excuse me for the camera movement. And what I'm doing is I'm coloring inside of the little, inside the templates. I'm just going ahead with very light colors. Already thinking along those lines, Sherry. And I'm going a very, very light pink. This is where tinting is really going to come in, because this is where you start making your decisions. So right now I've got her splashing up hearts. Walking on sunshine. Da 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 da. Yeah. I think that a lot of people forget that they can take their stencils and color inside them like this. Just make sure when you make your original line outlining your shape that you don't make it dark, because then you have to color the inside as dark as you make your outside. Maybe one more little teeny tiny heart here. Yeah, I'm not sure I even like that last heart there. I want this to look incidental. So that one's going to go away. Remember, you don't want to get too much into a pattern and have it look contrived. Okay. Now you can either go over these once they're put in with the pink pencil, or you can go over it with your white to blend it. Zoom in. And if that's not quite getting you the blend that you want, just go ahead and hit that with your blender pencil. It depends on your paper. It really does. And Daniel, what I want you to see too is once you see how we color our pages, that will give you some insight about drawing your images. All right, let's take a look at this. Zoom out, zoom out. So now the neat thing is it looks like she's kicking up the little hearts and the little, I don't know, water droplets here. Yeah, and Rhonda, you will be doing that, is that you'll try different pencils. Okay, now I'm not going to put glitter over here because we wanted that glitter to be flying out of her bag and kind of trailing off behind her. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little pink here. Petals, thank you. That's what that is. And notice that I'm taking my pink pencil beyond what the artist drew. Going to put a little shadow underneath the footy. Oh, it's absolutely wonderful to see everybody that's posted in the albums. I thank you for mentioning that, Lila. Okay, now look, I'm just going to put just a hint of purple, not much. Yeah, the reason that I decided to, well, I explained why I want you guys to, or why I started the idea of these albums. All right, everybody see how I'm adding just a little bit of purple now down to that walkway? Julie, you know, no, there's not really a limit per se. I mean, we are a coloring group. Okay, now look, I'm going to darken. I'm putting the purple into the glitter, and that's darkening that line a little bit. You know, I just want people just to put the album in, just to put faces to names, to show what our interests are. You know, I don't want it to become a major thing in our group because after all, we are a coloring group, but it just, I wanted people to put in images that represent them. Okay. So I want to put, I got to straighten this out here. This is bugging me. So Daniel needs to put a few pictures in too. He can put in pictures of Susanna. Okay. So I'm just looking for representative pictures. No, Julie, it's not intended for places to put pictures where you've colored. That's not the intent of it. Okay, so I've got a little bit of cellophane here that's trying to sneak away. Okay, I've got a little bit of my cellophane flopping around here, so I'm going to fix that. And by the way, some of the cellophane pieces are loose, they're sticking up, and that's perfectly okay. Hello, Maribel. Good to see you, sweetie. Helen's in here. Wow, we're just flooded with artists tonight. Yeah, I think everything's pretty well stuck here. There's a little loose piece there. Yeah, I saw that. Helen, Maribel. Yeah, we're going to go with a light purple on the bows. To pick up the shoes and the hair. Okay. Now, one more little thing that I want to add here. Is I'm going to take a very light blue. So Maribel, you need to tell us what you've been up to these days. You've just released, Maribel has released a new image in her Etsy store. Tell us about that, Maribel. So I'm going to put one little butterfly on here. Amazon delivered glitter glue to you today, says Lila. And Katie just got ink mandala. Yay. So I'm going to put just a little one butterfly up here. So Maribel, tell us about that image you released. So when I'm doing the stencil, I've got my pencil straight up and down. So I'm literally flattening the tip, kind of like a pinhead. And that'll keep you from getting any weird lines. So Maribel, tell us about your drawing. What inspired it? Okay, now I'm going to take a little bit of purple. Zoom in. And as soon as I can move my hand, you'll see that purple in the blue. There you go. Zoom in. Zoom in. Everybody see that blue tint that I'm adding? Not blue, excuse me, purple. Oh, so Maribel says she loves country singing. One of my favorite artists is Thomas Kincaid. Yes, Stephanie, you can add any coloring book to the affiliate list. Just text me the title. What I actually need you to do is go to Amazon and text me the link to it. Zoom out. So Maribel, what made you decide to do this country scene this time? Zoom out. All right, so now we've got a little butterfly hovering around the top. I'm not going to do any more than just the one. I think that would be overkill. Okay, so now we're going to put our bows on. And I'll go ahead and angle those just a little bit into the hair. All right. And let me just trim off a little bit of thread that's on here. This is Whimsical Dreams by Julia Spiri. Now, notice how I'm aiming in the bows on the hair. So I'm going to put a glop of glue on this. And then on this one, I'm going to aim it down just a little bit. You don't want the bows to be perfect on here. All right. Let me put my stencils away. All right. Good night, Maribel. I'm so glad you popped in. Thanks for letting us know about your new piece. Okay, Daniel, this is for you. Watch this. So I'm going to take my absolute lightest blue chalk Okay, Daniel, watch this. Fingers in the chalk. And I'm adding a very, very light blue to the paper. I'm not even sure that you guys will be able to see it. Zoom in. This is one of those, I can't see it, the brain can. Now I'm going to take a slightly darker blue just a little bit, teeny tiny bit. It's more of a turquoise actually. And I'm going to put it on a couple of spaces on my super light blue. So zoom out, zoom out. So the slightly darker blue is right here and up here, and then my light stuff is all in here. I mean, it is so subtle. You can barely see it. You'll have to let me know if you guys can see it. Okay. Yeah, I don't want to pop the hair. Helen. I just want to leave it muted this time. Can you guys even see that blue that I'm putting on there? And again, this is definitely one of those things, you know, like I said, I'm hitting some of the blue with a slightly darker turquoise. And what this is also doing is it's creating a halo effect around the fairy herself. Thanks, Melba. Daniel, we're going to have to get you comfortable. Whoops. We're going to have to get you comfortable with getting your fingers dirty, kiddo. Okay. Yeah, I'll try. I'll do that, Helen. I'll see if I can tilt the page. I've got a little bow that just popped up. Whoops. I'll tell you in a minute on that blue glue. My bow just came up. I don't know why. I don't know, Helen, or not. I put that blue glue on and this is not sticking at all. Wow. Oh, try it again. Now, if you're following something like this, guys, be sure that you do the cutesy thing here, how I've angled in these little ribbons. There we go. And notice how I don't have the angles the same on the bows. I think that makes it look all the more cuter. Okay. Oh, Daniel wants me to color a creature? You better watch out, Daniel. Maybe I just need to let that glue set a little longer. Daniel, one thing you're going to learn about me is that when I get challenged about something, I'll usually step up to it. So the gauntlet has been thrown. Daniel wants me to draw a creature, and he said then that he'll chalk it. You guys heard it here. Yeah, that's the challenge, because Daniel says he doesn't like chalk. I have been challenged. See, I'm yanking his tail now because he said he doesn't like to mess with chalks and stuff. Yeah, no, I got it. You want me to create a new creature and you'll chalk it, even though you said you don't like to use messy chalks. Okay, now I'm just going to use my little pull apart eraser, my little gum eraser, just to clean up this page a little bit. And I think I'm in pretty good shape with this. There's not much more I think that should be done with it. Actually, baby wipes work out really well too, Daniel. Julie, that's called the sink, Lila. Okay. Well, I'm glad you guys like our little girl here. I think if I added anything more to it, it would ruin the cuteness of it and the cleanness of it. So I'm not going to fuss too much with it. Seriously, Daniel, baby wipes beautifully to get chalk off fingers. I have a smock or clothing that I wear. I just wipe it on my shirt. All right. Okay, so I'm going to take a little bit of white. I want to smooth out this skin a little. Good night, Pearl. And that's going to soften up the skin, guys. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a pen and I'm going to reestablish my lines for her eyelashes because they got pretty milky. All right, everybody see how smooth now that skin is getting? And I think that's the last touch up I'm going to do, guys. Okay, so I'm going to grab my pen, black pen. You guys know that I love them. And I'm going to go back over the lines just to darken that now because they got way milky. Zoom in. You don't have a desk, Daniel? Okay. Well, I suppose that makes sense because you're into the creating, which is basically on your um, electronic device. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and color in, redarken the eyes. And this is just the black pupils. There you go, Lila. Buy lots of coloring books from Daniel so he can buy a desk for himself. That's all right, Daniel. We're just going to buy a lot of your coloring books so you can get a desk. All right, everybody see how that eye is popping beautifully right here? And now I'm going to go ahead and do my second one. Oh man, look at that. Much better. What do you think, guys? Okay, zoom out. Zoom out. So I'm going to move this around a little bit. I think you can see the blue. On the background. And we kept it simple, but we just added a few elements on here. Let me see. Here, let me do it this way. Here's some white paper. Oh, there you go. Now you can see the blue. So that background is so subtle. I didn't want to take away from the piece itself because we've got a lot going on with this. Well, I'm glad you like it, guys. So again, this is the Whimsical Dreams by Julia Spiri. I wanted to show you the use of the cellophane. Stacy came up with the idea of the cellophane on the eyes, which I will use from now on pieces to give that shine. So thumbs up. I like it. I like it. And then Lila suggested the bows. And I used a few stencils. And again, when I stenciled in these shapes, I did it very, very lightly. Okay. Clean that up. Glad you liked it, guys. I had a lot of fun doing this for you. All right. So I need her to set her aside to get those bows drying. I probably should have added them after I put the Krylon spray on, but that's okay. Not going to worry about it. All right. What do you mean review Helen's first book, Stephanie? Okay. Stephanie, which book are you talking about of Helen's? She's put out quite a few. All right, a while back I did a night sky. Let me see if I put it back in my notebook. I did some northern lights for you. And as I was working on this piece, I wanted to create that same effect. So what I did is I used my Faber-Castell chalks. And I like to use my sponge tip applicators for this. So what I'm doing is I'm using blues and purples here. And like I said, I erased some of these because what I had done is I'd put a black outline around the Indian couple, and that didn't work for what I was trying to do. Okay, Stephanie, which book are you talking about? You said the one where she teaches coloring. Are you talking about the 4 colors books that she put out? And what I'm doing is I'm using the sponge tip applicators. And I'm putting a combination of the color sky and the black. Now, this was a little boo-boo that I had made. Like I said, I put a black outline around the outside and decided that that wasn't going to work. Zoom in. So in order to make this northern light image, I put black on the outside, and then I'm coming in with the colors towards the center. There we go, much better. And all I'm doing now is using my different colors. I've got my purple, blue, pink, and light blue, and yellow. Good night, Daniel. Thanks so much for stopping by. So what I want you to see is I'm going ahead and adding my splotches of color and then surrounding that with black. Now, the way that I did the stars is I used the liquid pearls. Good night, Katie. Oil must be a guy thing. Yeah, it could be. But what I want you to see here on this is the mix of my colors to make that sky pop. Good night, Miss Helen. Zoom out. And again, I corrected my mistake of trying to outline this Indian couple in black because I wanted to make it look more dimensional. And that was a mistake to do that. As we've talked about, guys, everything is correctable. Okay. Now, one little issue that I have is this border here. And this is the border on the paper, the way the paper printed. And I carried out the pastel, zoom in. Hi, Wanda. But the problem is you can see the border. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my dark gray, black, and have that all be the darker part of the sky. I can't fix that, otherwise it's just going to look wonky. So I'll go ahead and shave some of this black on here. And I'm using it now to cover up that line. But what I want you to notice is I'm using different shades of this. I'm using black and gray over here. So in other words, it's not just a solid black. Zoom in. Good night, Christy. And I just want to put on just enough black to cover up that line and make it look natural. Yeah, it does. It's very velvety. And also notice how I'm working in the black to be lighter and lighter towards the center to give it that cloudy velvet look. Sorry, I got off camera there. Zoom out. Okay. So I need to do a little bit of repair on the other side as well. Good night, Stacy. Zoom out. And I hope you guys can see how pretty this is looking. All right. So now I'm going to come over to the other side. And fix this side as well. This is where I had outlined with darker black color and decided that was a tactical error. Oh, got a little bit here that I missed. And actually, before I go over to the other side, I've got a little bit at the top here that needs to be fixed as well because of that border. Zoom in. Zoom in. You can see that white line right there. That's what I'm working on getting rid of. That's the border of the way the picture printed. So lots of black on that to get rid of that. And if I can't get rid of it with my chalk, I'll come back with pencil. That's my next option. But at the moment, the chalk seems to be working pretty well. I just don't want to see that line. Okay. Get that brushed off. Now, the really neat thing about this type of sky here is you can get super creative. Yes, I added the stars with the liquid pearl. And this is coming up absolutely just beautiful, guys. I really hope that you can see that. And again, this is all repair work that I'm doing because I had originally outlined with a black shadow, decided that it wasn't working, erased it, and now I'm bringing the multicolored sky up to the bodies as well. And honestly, had I not told you that I had made that mistake, you never would have even known. And I really, really hope that you can see how cool this is looking. Excuse my arm. Now, I want you to notice too that when I have a color, I'm carrying that out into where I have the black and gray. And especially with the yellow, that's where it lightens that gray, and that's where you're getting your dimension effect. I don't want you to be afraid of your drawings, guys, and afraid of your colorings. And to me, these northern lights are especially fun. Oh, thank you for sharing, Lila. Because you get to play with so many colors. And remember, when you're doing something like this, don't forget to blend your color, in this case the yellow, into your black, because that gives your beautiful shaded effects. Zoom out. All right. Now, this is where, again, if you see any areas that you want to correct, like right here, I'm just going to go ahead and not have that black look so spotty. Yeah, Rhonda posts a picture and asks people what they think it is. All right. Beautiful. Now, it's not ideal to have to do corrective work like this, obviously, but it certainly is doable. Okay. So just for now, I'm going to go ahead and put my chalks away and clean up my fingers. And I'm going to start working on my Indians. All right. No, I'm not going to spray it, Wanda. Why did you think that I would do that? I normally do a second spray until the end of the piece. All right, let me clean up a little bit. So I wouldn't be smudging the pastel. Not worried about smudging the pastel, actually. Especially since this is it's a smudgeable image. But regardless of that, I have never intermediate sprayed with stuff, even if I'm using pastel. That's why I use my paper towel. All right. So I'm going to start on her outfit here. Wanda, is that what you've been doing with your pieces? Is spraying an intermediate with the Krylon? And in fact, another reason why I wouldn't spray it now is because if I want to play with those pastels and change up anything, it wouldn't let me do that. So no, I'm not going to spray that. So you added a background of pastels and sprayed the picture, then colored the remainder. Okay. For me personally, I don't do any intermediate spraying at all, and I'm really not worried about smudging. All right, give me a minute while I decide what I'm going to do with this. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start on his loincloth. Zoom in. Oh, that's perfectly fine, Wanda. It's personal choice on that, sure. Honestly, I've never had a problem with it. And I like to leave everything open that I've done so that I can come back and make any changes if I want. Okay, so I'm going through and I'm coloring an overall color with what would be my light brown, my lightest color for grayscale. This is going to be a little dicey here. I've got one strand here. There we go. Now I just have to fill in a little bit of this night sky here, so I'm just going to use pencil just to define the edge of that loincloth. So I have my light, my medium, and my dark brown. And now I'm going to go ahead and take my medium and start filling in my areas here on the gray. Actually, I'm going to back off that concept. I'm going to go with my darks. Change of plan. There we go. And this will make sense in a little bit. Zoom in. Good night, Rhonda. Oh, well, sorry to hear you had a tough night from last night that affected today. Okay, and then I'll go in with my medium now. Yeah, Wanda, don't you have Sunday and Mondays off? Good night, Miss Melba. Melba, that contest is coming up soon around your sketch. Okay, and then I'm going to go in now with my light. And remember, you're still coloring in your own shades. Oh, you're not leaving, Melba, sorry. Wanda's not going. Who's on first? Yeah. And here I thought you guys were all abandoning me. So when I color, do I color on a flat surface? What do you mean, Melba? I've got my studio table. Now, guys, something I want you to pay attention to is when you start to see the image and where the shading should be, don't be afraid to enhance that. No, I don't tilt my work. Okay, so as I'm looking at this loincloth, it looks like we've got a roll over here of the lighter material, and then underneath it's shaded. So when you start to see what's going on your coloring, guys, where the shading is, run with it. Now I want you to think about this. Yeah, I haven't had any back or neck problems, Melba. Zoom out. Now remember, guys, when you add your own shading to these images, this is where your pieces are really going to pop. And I want you to remember this grayscale is still coming up from underneath. So your coloring on grayscale is a combination of what you see, how that image should be colored, and the gray coming up to enhance that. I really want you to understand that. It's important that you understand that. I hear so many people say the grayscale takes the art out of your coloring, and that's not true at all. And if you look at what I'm doing with this loincloth now, you can see there's like a top portion here laying on top of a bottom portion. So this bottom portion is going to be darker than my top. Can you guys see that? So you can see now how interesting this loincloth is starting to look. It's a combination of the grayscale and your interpretation of the piece. Zoom out. All right. And very, very lightly, I'm going to use my blender pencil on this. I'm hardly even touching it. I'm just doing it enough to get any popcorn effect out of it. And I've also got some really neat white highlights with this. So I'm going to go ahead and play with that as well. Zoom in. And just like everything else, guys, you want to tint with your white pencil because that effect is very powerful. Zoom out. Look at that. What do you think? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Do you like the effect? Can you post your TikTok in your album? What's the TikTok about, Steph? Now, one of the things that you can do if you like is you can enhance what you've done up on your sky with your pencil. So this is where your chalk and your pencil are going to work in tandem, and that's going to smooth everything out. Yeah, Steph, no, we just need to leave it pictures. Just pictures, no TikTok. The purpose of the albums is just to have people see a picture of you and get to know who you are and stuff like that. Now notice how I'm taking yellow and just enhancing this one area. Yeah, Stephanie, read the description as to why I'm doing that with the postings. It's just for people getting to know you. So for example, if you like knitting, you would want to show pictures of you knitting. Okay. Yeah, just pictures is fine, Steph, but thank you for asking. I saw that, Lila. Okay. What do you guys think of this so far? So you can start to see how this is coming up. And actually, I just realized something that I noticed in this picture. Let's see here. The loincloth actually comes down to here as well. And I missed that. So I'm just going to shade in, zoom in, zoom in. There we go. So I'm just going to pencil that in right now since I missed it earlier. And then I'll worry about my shades later. since we're getting close to 10 o'clock here. All right, anybody have any questions about what I'm doing with this? All right. I am loving how this is turning out. Zoom out. Oh, his mom taught him how to cook, clean, and do laundry long before you got him. That's great. So Wanda, you were saying you really want to see the before and after spraying the pastel when you finish? Okay. I'll take an intermediate picture of what I'm doing. I think we're in pretty good shape, guys. Oh, Stephanie, that's good that your son's getting into drawing. Yeah. How old is he, Stephanie? So I think we're in pretty good shape. I'm starting to establish the clothing. I'll be working on the skin. 13? Yeah, that's a good age to do stuff like this. And then I just need to figure out a color for her top. And then of course I'll work on the skin. All right, guys. I think I'm going to call it an evening. Thank you so much. Joyous, joyous coloring, guys. We sure had a full night tonight, didn't we? All right, guys. You have a great rest of the evening. Thank you, Stephanie. I will have a blessed evening. Good night, Amy. You're welcome, Lila. This is ILene Vick for Teaching About Coloring with ILene Vick. I think we got a good one going. Bye.